Do you need to expand your vocabulary so you sound fluent and natural in English? Well, that's what you'll do today. You'll learn 182 smart phrases and idioms that you can use in everyday conversations. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Almost every day, you'll probably say, I don't know. But there are better ways to say this, smarter ways to say this. Now you'll learn 30 smart ways to say this. So let's say your friend or coworker asks you a random question like, how far away is the sun? And you don't know the answer. How can you reply? The most popular answer would be, I have no idea. And this is really to stress the fact that you have no knowledge on the topic. Remember, the question is, how far away is the sun? I have no idea. Now, we can also shorten this and simply say, no idea.
I have no idea. No idea?
Another common answer is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now, you can expand on this and you can say, I'm not too sure. Not too sure. I'm not too sure about that. That meaning the question. I'm not too sure about how far away the sun is.
Not sure about that. Not sure about what?
A fun one is simply to say, who knows? Who knows? Seriously, who knows? Do you know? Who knows? You could say, your guess is as good as mine. It's implying that you also don't know the answer. Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
I created a free lesson PDF that summarizes all the different ways to say, I don't know. You can look in the description or the comment section for the link. Now, another one with the word guess is, if I had to guess, I'd say. So you're letting the person know that your answer could be completely wrong. So how far away is the sun? If I had to guess, I'd say 100 million miles. I don't know. Am I right? You let me know in the comments if I'm right. You could say, I wish I knew. That's an interesting piece of knowledge. I wish I knew. But I don't. I wish I knew. I wish I could help you. I wish I could help you with that. I wish I could answer that for you, but I can't.
I wish I knew, Robin. I wish I knew.
You could also say, I can't help you with that one. I can't help you with that question. You could say, that's an interesting question, but, and then use any of the expressions we just learned. That's an interesting question, but I have no idea. You could also just say, I've never thought about that before, which is probably true. A common way to answer that question now is simply to take out your phone and say, hey Siri, how far away is the sun? Hey, I was actually pretty close. It was 149 million miles away, and I said 100 million miles, and I completely guessed. I'm pretty proud of that. So that's a great way to answer. Just ask Siri or Alexa or whoever else. There are two very common idioms that you can use. The first idiom is beats me. That beats me, but we commonly get rid of that and simply say, beats me. And that's the same as saying, I have no idea. Beats me. The other idiom is, I haven't the slightest idea. And the slightest is this much, the smallest amount possible, but you're saying you don't even have that. So it's another way of saying, I have no idea. I haven't the slightest idea. Now, instead of slightest, you could say foggiest or faintest, and it means the exact same thing. Or you can say, I haven't a clue, which also means the same thing. So they're just slight changes to the same idiom, and they're very commonly used.
because I haven't the foggiest idea why. I mean, look at me.
Now let's talk about some more professional expressions that you can use when you're asked a question but you don't know the answer. So let's say your boss asked you how many units of a specific product were sold last month. You could reply back and say, when do you need to know by? And your boss will likely say an hour, 2 hours, tomorrow, next week, and tell you when they need the information. Now, if they say right now, I need it right now, then you can reply back and say, let me get that for you. Get that being the answer, the information. Or you could say, let me find out. Let me look into this. Instead of let me, you could also say I will. As a contraction, I'll find out. I'll look into this. I'll let you know. I'll get back to you. Another way to reply is to say, I need to check something and then I'll get back to you. So you're letting the person know that you just need to do something first. Instead of check, you could say, I need to confirm something, I need to verify something, I need to look into something and get back to you. You can also specify a specific time or date when you'll have the information. Let me look into this and I'll get back to you by 2 o'clock, by the end of the day, by tomorrow, by next week. And let the person know.
Let me look into it.
Now, if you do want to admit that you don't know the answer now, you could say something like, I'm not sure offhand. So offhand is just an expression we use to mean right now. I'm not sure offhand. Let me look into this and I'll get back to you by 2 o'clock. Does that work for you? And you can add, does that work for you? To clarify that getting back to them with the information by 2 o'clock is acceptable. Your boss will likely say, sure, no problem. Or they might say, no, I have a meeting in 10 minutes and I need this information. Well, then of course you say, no problem, I'll find out right now and get back to you in a few minutes. Of course, by the deadline your boss just told you. Now, instead of saying, I'm not sure offhand, which again is just an expression, I'm not sure offhand, you could say, I'm not sure off the top of my head. So again, this is another way of just saying right now. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Let me find out and I'll email you the information in 10 minutes. So you could also use in and a time reference, in 10 minutes, in an hour, in 20 minutes. Or you could simply say ASAP. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me check and I'll get back to you ASAP. That means as soon as possible. You can also say ASAP. There's 2 different ways to say it, ASAP or ASAP. They're both acceptable. I think ASAP is more common though. I'll get back to you ASAP.
I'll look into it and get back to you.
ASAP.
Another thing you'll say almost every day is I think. Again, there are smarter ways to say this. Now you'll learn 50 smart ways to say this. Now let's get started with first sharing your personal opinion. Let's say you're in a work meeting and you have an idea you want to share with everyone. We should hire a marketing expert to build our website. You can absolutely say that, but you can sound more professional, more advanced if you use an opinion word. Now, there are many different phrases you can use to share your personal opinion. I recommend starting with 2 to 3 that you like the most, and then you can add more once you get comfortable with them so you have variety and you're not always using the same one. Here's the list. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, from my point of view, personally, I think that. In my view, I'd say that. I believe that. I strongly, firmly believe that. I'm convinced that. There's no doubt in my mind that, I feel that, in my mind, it seems to me that. So let's take our idea again. We should hire a marketing expert to build our website. As far as I'm concerned, we should hire a marketing expert. In my opinion, in my mind, personally, I think that we should hire a marketing expert. So you can use any one of these, and remember, variety is key. You don't always want to say, in my opinion. You can absolutely use that, but you want to have variety. Now let's talk about agreeing with an opinion. So you're in a meeting and a colleague says, we should postpone the conference. Or your colleague used an opinion word and said, I firmly believe that we should postpone the conference. Now let's say that you agree with your colleague. What can you say? Well, again, here's a big list. Start with 1 to 2 and add them as you get comfortable. I agree. I agree with you. I think so too. That's a good point. You're right. Definitely, absolutely. I second that. I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't agree more. We're on the same page. You hit the nail on the head. So your colleague says, from my perspective, we should postpone the conference. And you say, I couldn't agree more. We should postpone the conference. You're right. We should postpone the conference. Absolutely, we should postpone the conference. I agree with you. Now let's say your colleague shared an opinion that started with, I don't think. I don't think we should postpone the conference. Personally, I don't think we should postpone the conference. We have one very specific phrase that you can use when you want to agree with a negative opinion. Do you know what that is? In my mind, I don't think we should postpone the conference. Neither do I. Neither do I. You only use this when you're agreeing with I don't think. Neither do I. Now let's talk about disagreeing with an opinion. So you're in a meeting and your colleague says, in my mind, we should look for a new supplier. Now you don't agree. What can you say? You can say, I disagree with you. I'm afraid I disagree. On the contrary, I understand where you're coming from, but I respect your opinion, but that's a good point. However, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. I think, can I share my opinion? That's one way of looking at it, but have you considered the fact that? Now, the first one I shared, I disagree with you, is probably the least commonly used because it sounds argumentative. And we generally want to say this softly to someone. So it's way more common to say, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I disagree with you. It makes it a lot softer. Or you could acknowledge that I respect your opinion, but I don't think that's a good idea. I respect your opinion, but I think we should keep our supplier. My personal favorite in this category is I understand where you're coming from, but, and then you share your opinion or whatever information you like. I understand where you're coming from. This is another way of saying I respect your opinion. I understand where you're coming from, but right now isn't the best time to change our suppliers because it's our busiest time of year. We should wait until Q4. And remember, you can add your personal opinion words as well. From my perspective, in my mind, from my point of view, we should wait until Q4. So you can absolutely combine these different opinion words together. Now let's talk about sharing a general opinion. So something that most people would agree with. Here's a statement. Repetition is key when you're learning any new skill. Now, I personally believe this, but it's not my opinion per se. This is just a commonly held opinion by most people, by many different people. So here are some general opinion words you can use. It's said that, it's believed that, I've heard that, It's considered that, it's generally accepted that, most agree that, some say that, it goes without saying that, researchers, experts suggest that. So I could say it's generally accepted that repetition is key when you're learning any new skill. And personally, I agree. And personally, I couldn't have said it better myself. So you absolutely can share a general opinion, but then agree with that general opinion using one of the phrases you've already learned. Or maybe you want to disagree with this statement. Well, then of course you can use one of the phrases to disagree. On the contrary, repetition isn't that important. I'm afraid I disagree. Repetition isn't that important in my mind, and then you can share your opinion. And finally, let's talk about how to ask someone for their opinion. So let's say I shared a general opinion. Most agree that repetition is key when learning a new skill. And I want to ask for your opinion on this specific topic. I can say, do you agree? What's your opinion? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What's your view? How do you see the situation? What's your take on it? What about you? How about you? Has that been your experience? What has your experience been? Are we on the same page? Is that something you would support too? So if you're talking to someone who's currently learning a new skill, it could be really interesting to ask them, has that been your experience? What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree? Native speakers love using idioms. Using them will help you sound smart in daily conversations, so now you'll learn 20 common idioms. Number 1, to break a leg. Do you know this one? What if I said to you, break a leg? Do you know what that means? I'm saying good luck. And we generally use this when someone is about to perform in an exam or a presentation, a job interview, or within the theatrical world if you're an actor. So I might say, you're going to do great on your presentation, break a leg. Good luck. And you can simply use those 3 words, break a leg.
Break a leg. Break a leg.
Don't worry about writing these down because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF and you can find the link in the description. Number 2, to spill the beans. Oh, this means to reveal a secret. So you tell your friend about this surprise party you're planning for another friend, but then she spills the beans. She tells that friend, hey, we're planning you a surprise party. You can say, I can't believe you spilled the beans about the surprise party. So what about you? Can I trust you with a secret? I'm going to tell you a secret, but first you have to promise to not spill the beans. So put in the comments, I won't spill the beans, I won't spill the beans, and then I'll reveal my secret.
Spill the beans. Spill the beans.
Number 3, to hit the hay. Well, I'm gonna hit the hay. Do you know what this means? It means I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. So you might tell your family, I have an early meeting tomorrow, so I'm going to hit the hay. Now you can also use sack. Hit the hay, hit the sack. They mean exactly the same thing.
Let's hit the hay.
Well, I'll hit the hay.
Number 4, to bite the bullet. This is when you face a difficult situation with courage. So let's say you made a mistake at work. That's a difficult situation, but you're going to face it. So you're going to walk into your boss's office and you're going to say, I made a mistake. So you could tell your coworker, I have to bite the bullet and tell my boss about the mistake.
We bite the bullet.
Guess it's time to bite the bullet.
Number 5, to hit the jackpot. I hope this happens to you. This is when you experience a significant success or gain. You could say winning the contract felt like hitting the jackpot for our company. So maybe the contract was for a very large amount or it was with a really prestigious client. So it was a big success, a significant success.
We hit the jackpot. What?
Number 6, to catch someone's eye. This means to attract someone's attention or simply be noticed. Her impressive presentation caught the CEO's eye. So notice that possessive. Catch someone's eye, the CEO's eye. So it's possessive. How about this one? His resume caught the hiring manager's eye. So notice the possessive is after the S because there's more than one hiring manager. The hiring managers, it's plural. So you add the possessive after for a plural. So it belongs to the hiring managers. But notice I is always singular. We don't add the S to I.
Pick whatever catches your eye.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Number 8, to hit the nail on the head. This is when you describe precisely exactly what is causing a problem or situation.
Hit the nail on the head.
To give you a compliment, I could say you really hit the nail on the head with your analysis. But I could reverse that and say your analysis of the situation really hit the nail on the head. Both of them are correct and have the same meaning.
You hit the nail on the head.
Number 9, to burn bridges. You don't want to do this. This is when you damage relationships or you close off opportunities. And most people do this when they end a relationship. In a business context, this would be when you quit, when you end your professional relationship with the company. But you should never burn bridges when you quit, because if you damage that relationship by quitting in an outrageous way, in an unprofessional way, well then you can't use that employer as a reference. And you never know when you might need that employer again in the future, or when you might even work for that employer again in the future. So you don't want to burn bridges.
Burned all my bridges.
And burn that bridge? No.
Number 10, to jump on the bandwagon. This is a fun one. This is when you adopt a popular activity or trend. In the YouTube world, a popular trend is YouTube Shorts. Now, after a year of not making YouTube Shorts, I decided to jump on the bandwagon. I decided to make YouTube Shorts because they're popular and they're trendy.
Every studio is jumping on the bandwagon.
I wish I had bit the bullet. Remember this one? Bit, that is the past. This is the past perfect. I wish I had bit the bullet sooner. Number 11, to be in the same boat, one of the most common idioms. This is when you face the same challenges or are in a similar situation, the same boat. Julio is nervous about public speaking. Kezia is nervous about public speaking. They're in the same boat when it comes to public speaking.
We're in the same boat.
Looks like we're in the same boat.
Spick and span. I love this one. This means neat, tidy, and clean. I always keep my office spick and span. How about your office? You can use this for anything, an entire room, or maybe even just a desk. She always keeps her desk spick and span.
Spick and span.
I want them spick and span.
Number 13, to cost an arm and a leg. This means to be very expensive. So there's a problem with your car. You could say, ugh, getting my car repaired is going to cost an arm and a leg. It's going to be very expensive.
Air conditioners cost an arm and a leg.
And it won't cost you an arm and a leg.
You could also say cost a pretty penny, which is our next idiom, number 14, and it means exactly the same thing, very expensive. So the same example as before, but now you can say getting my car repaired is going to cost a pretty penny. You can use either one.
Because it cost a pretty penny. It cost me a pretty penny today.
How about number 15? Dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. This means very cheap, very inexpensive. So let's say I see my best friend with this new designer handbag. I can say, wow, that Gucci handbag must have cost an arm and a leg, or must have cost a pretty penny. But then she can say, actually, it was dirt cheap. So I could say, really? How? And that's our next idiom, number 16, a knockoff. Do you know what a knockoff is? This is a copy or imitation of a product. So my friend does not have a real Gucci handbag. It's a knockoff. So when you buy a Rolex, make sure it's not a knockoff.
It's just a cheap knockoff.
Number 17, to hit the road. I love this one. I use it a lot. This is when you begin a journey or simply leave a place. So to begin a journey, you can say, I'm packed, let's hit the road. Let's begin our journey. Or you could say, oh, it's getting late, let's hit the road.
Yes, hit the road.
Let's hit the road.
Number 18, to break a sweat. This is when you exert physical effort. So at the gym, if you run really fast, you're going to break a sweat, which means you begin sweating. To break a sweat, but it could also be when you work really hard. You could break a sweat. But we also use this in the negative. Oh, this lesson was too easy, Jennifer. I didn't even break a sweat. Well, I'll have to make the next one harder for you. Number 19, to be under the weather, a must-know idiom. This simply means to be or feel sick. So you might send a message to your team and say, I'm going to work from home today. I'm a little under the weather and I don't want to get anyone sick.
Well, they're under the weather.
And finally, number 20, to call it a day. This is when you decide to stop working on something. Well, this is the 20th idiom, so let's call it a day. I'm going to stop working on this video. I'm going to end the video, and you can stop as well. Well, in just a few minutes. Now notice the expression uses day. Let's call it a day. If it were 8 o'clock at night, you could say, well, it's 8, so let's call it a day, or let's call it a night. So at night, you can choose to use night, but you can also still use day. So you can just use day for all situations.
Call it a day.
We're gonna call it a day.
Amazing job. Now let's keep going and you'll learn 25 smart workplace phrases. Our first phrase, I'm on board with that. This is used when you agree or you want to express your support for a suggestion or an idea. For example, we're on board, we are, the verb to be, we're on board with, that preposition with, we're on board with the new strategy for increasing sales. And don't forget to conjugate that verb to be with your subject and time reference.
I'm on board.
Next, are we on the same page? This is used to confirm that everyone has the same understanding, opinion, or viewpoint. After our discussion, it seems like we're on the same page. We all have the same opinion, understanding, or viewpoint. And to specify what that something is, you can say regarding the project timeline. Don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Next, it's a win-win situation. This is a situation where all parties benefit, all parties win. I could say subscribing to JForrest English is a win-win situation. I win by growing my YouTube channel and you win by getting all of these free video lessons to help you become fluent. So put win-win, win-win, put win-win in the comments below.
It's a win-win.
Our next phrase, I could ask, what are your thoughts on this? This is used to request someone's opinion or feedback. You can identify something specific and say, what are your thoughts on the new marketing strategy? Remember, you can replace the noun, the new marketing strategy, with this if it's obvious. Next, we need to think outside the box. Have you heard this one? To think outside the box. This is to encourage creative thinking, innovative thinking. If you're trying to solve a difficult problem, you might say thinking outside the box is the only way we'll solve this problem. You need innovative, creative solutions.
Everybody start thinking outside the box.
Next, I love this one. Let's circle back to that later. When you circle back to something, it means you stop discussing it now and you suggest that you discuss it later. So you postpone your discussion until later. You could say, we only have 10 minutes left, so let's circle back to this, whatever this is, your discussion about the marketing campaign, thinking outside the box. Let's circle back to this later. Let's postpone it now and discuss it later. Notice the grammar. This is in the imperative. It's often the case because we use this as an instruction or a suggestion.
Let's circle back to Dina.
Our next phrase, we need to prioritize our tasks. If you prioritize something, it means you organize it based on importance and urgency. So the most important or the most urgent at the top of your list of to-dos because it's prioritized. It's the most important. This is a common situation. We don't have enough time to complete everything, so let's prioritize our tasks. I love this one. Please keep me in the loop. Do you know this one? Native speakers love using it. This is used to request that information or updates be shared as they happen. I could say, I'm taking tomorrow off, but please keep me in the loop on the project. Notice grammatically, this is the imperative because I'm giving you an instruction or a suggestion. You can add please at the beginning or the end of the imperative to sound more polite.
Good. Keep me in the loop on that.
Next, have they ironed out the details? This is used to ask if something has been resolved or clarified. For example, we need to iron out the contract details before the meeting. And notice that pronunciation in the past simple, ironed out, ironed out, ironed out. Phrase 10, I'm all ears. This is used to express your openness and willingness to listen. I could say, if you have any suggestions for improving this YouTube channel, I'm all ears. I'm open and willing to listen to your suggestions, and that is 100% true. So please share your suggestions in the comments.
I'm all ears.
Next, let's take a step back. This is when you pause to review a situation or decision. Our marketing campaign didn't work. Let's take a step back. Let's pause what we're doing, working on the marketing campaign, to review it, to make sure it is the right strategy. Let's take a step back. Notice this is also in the imperative for instructions or suggestions. This is a great one. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Use this when you disagree with someone's opinion or statement. Your coworker could say, the marketing campaign didn't work because we didn't think outside the box. You could say, I beg to differ, which means I don't agree. I beg to differ. The campaign was great. It was our execution that failed.
I beg to differ.
Next, I'll cut to the chase. This is when you say your main point directly, without small talk, without additional details. For example, I'll cut to the chase. You're not getting the promotion. Notice grammatically, the expression is in the future simple. I will cut to the chase. I'll cut to the chase, even though the information you're delivering is now. I'll cut to the chase. You're not getting the promotion. This is a great one. Run it by the team first. This is when you share ideas for feedback and approval. I think it's a great idea, but you should run it by Frank first. You should share it with Frank to get his feedback and approval. And why should you do that? Because our next phrase, Frank calls the shots. This is to say that someone is in charge. They have the authority to make decisions. You should run your idea by Frank because he calls the shots. Notice it's the shots, it's always plural.
I call the shots.
Our next phrase, the ball's in Frank's court. This is used to say it's someone else's responsibility to make a decision, in this case, Frank. Maybe you're talking to your coworkers and someone asks you, should we hire Jennifer as our English teacher? And you don't want to make that decision. So you can say the ball's in your court to give responsibility for that decision to someone else. Remember to conjugate the verb to be because it's the ball is, the ball is in your court.
The ball's in your court.
Next, we need to nip this in the bud. This is an important one because it's when you stop a problem at the early stages before it becomes permanent or more serious. Let's say you have a new policy for a dress code, but none of the new employees are following the dress code. So that's the problem, and you want to stop it in the early stages. You want to nip it in the bud. Grammatically, the verb is nip, and to conjugate it, it's nip, nipped, nipped.
You need to nip this in the bud.
This is a great one. It's not my cup of tea. Do you know this one? This is used to say that you dislike something. Public speaking is not my cup of tea, but it's essential for my career. And remember, there are two correct contractions. It isn't, it's not. You can use either one. They hammered out the agreement. This is used to say that something is finalized. As a question, have you hammered out the terms yet? This is commonly used with agreements, proposals, and contracts. Phrase 20, we're swamped right now.
Dr. Kepner, we're swamped.
This is to say you're really busy. We've been swamped since Vanessa quit. The expression is to be swamped, so your verb is to be, and then swamped is always in the ed form. Next, we'll take that into consideration. This is to say you'll consider something. You'll consider someone's feedback, suggestion, advice, recommendation. Now, because I'm all ears, you shared a suggestion with me. You said, Jennifer, I think you should upload videos 3 times per day. I could say, thanks for your suggestion. I'll take that into consideration. Next, we need to think long term. This is used to emphasize the importance of considering future implications and considerations. I could say publishing videos 3 times per day would help my students, but I need to think long term. Is that sustainable for me? I'll become very swamped very quickly. Next, sorry, I'm tied up. This means you're busy and therefore unavailable. You could say, I wish I could help you, but I'm tied up. I'm already busy with something else and therefore unavailable. Now you can specify the something and use the preposition with. I'm tied up with the budget. Phrase 24, let's put our heads together. This is used to suggest the need for collaboration, brainstorming, or more than one opinion, because the opinion is in your head, and if you put heads together, then you have more than one opinion. If we put our heads together, I know we can nip this in the bud. And finally, phrase 25, to play devil's advocate. This is when you consider opposing viewpoints when making a decision. I could say, I think 3 videos per day is too much for me to handle, but let's play devil's advocate. So now I'm going to think about publishing 3 videos per day and think about what that would take, what my day would be like, just to see if it's possible, and that will help me make my decision. Now let's talk about your daily routine, and you'll learn how to go from boring and basic phrases to more smart and advanced phrases. Let's talk about Mark's daily routine. Say hello to Mark. Mark is a manager, he's married, and he has 2 young kids. Let me tell you about Mark's daily routine at an advanced C1 level, and after I'll explain all the advanced vocabulary and grammar that you can add to your speech. The alarm rings at 6:30 a.m., signaling the beginning of Mark's day. With precision, he orchestrates the morning routine, ensuring his 2 energetic children are dressed and fed. As the aroma of coffee fills the air, Mark reviews his schedule, preparing for the day ahead. Notice how this daily routine started in a very advanced way, almost a poetic way. The alarm rings at 6:30 a.m. Most students would simply say, I wake up at 6:30 a.m. Or in this case, Mark wakes up at 6:30 a.m. But this is very beginner and boring. The alarm rings at 6:30 a.m. That sounds so advanced. Why don't you try that? You can say my alarm instead of the alarm. You can make it possessive. My alarm rings. Present simple conjugated with my alarm, it. My alarm rings at. Put that in the comments and share what time your alarm rings, which is an alternative to saying I wake up at. My alarm rings at. As for me, my alarm rings at 5:30 a.m., signaling the beginning of Mark's day. Notice here we have signaling in the ing form. This is a present participle. It adds description by showing the result of the action. With precision. Precision means that there was a high level of accuracy. This is an advanced noun. You could also say with ease, because you want to talk about your daily routine as being easy, with ease. He orchestrates the morning routine. Again, notice the vocabulary is at that more advanced C1 level. To orchestrate means to organize, arrange, or coordinate. And notice those verb conjugations because we're in the present simple and it's being conjugated with the subject he, she, it. You need to add that s. With precision, he orchestrates the morning routine, ensuring, notice here another present participle. Again, it describes the action, ensuring his 2 energetic children are dressed and fed. As the aroma of coffee fills the air. Notice here, aroma is a more advanced way of saying the smell of coffee, the aroma of coffee. Mark reviews his schedule, preparing another present participle, preparing for his day ahead. Let's move on. At the office, Mark transitions into his managerial role, leading a diverse team. His day is filled with back-to-back Zoom meetings and presentations. Mark excels in conveying intricate ideas during meetings and negotiations. At the office, Mark transitions into something, his managerial role. Maybe you could say, after tending to my children, I have to transition into my marketing role, or whatever your next role is. At the office, Mark transitions into his managerial role, leading a diverse team. Again, the present participle. It describes the action. His day is filled with. To be filled with something, this means to contain a lot of. Now, although contain is a more advanced vocabulary term than filled with, adding phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions is a great way to sound more advanced, to sound more C1. So to be filled with sounds more advanced than saying contains. and back-to-back Zoom meetings and presentations. This means that as one meeting ends, another one immediately begins, back to back. Mark excels in explaining intricate ideas. This is a C1 or C2 sentence. A more beginner sentence would be saying, Mark is very good at communicating complex ideas. But notice that grammar difference. To excel in something or doing something, or to be good at. So you need a different preposition. Let's move on. As the workday concludes, Mark races against the clock to attend his children's extracurricular activities. Soccer practice, music lessons, and art classes become integral parts of their routine. In the car rides between activities, Mark cherishes the moments of connection with his children. As the workday concludes. Concludes is a more advanced way of saying as the workday ends. As the workday concludes, Mark races against the clock. This is an expression, to race against the clock. This is when you have to work quickly to complete all your tasks within a limited amount of time, to race against the clock. Soccer practice, music lessons, and art classes become integral parts of their daily routine. Integral means essential or necessary. It's a more advanced term. Let's look at this sentence. In the car ride between activities, Mark cherishes the moments of connection with his children. This is a complex sentence. The first part is a dependent clause, which means it is not a complete sentence. But if you add it to an independent clause, then it becomes a complex sentence. Using complex sentences is an integral part of sounding more advanced, fluent, and C1. Let's move on. Following dinner, the family reunites in collective activities, whether it's a board game, a movie night, or a stroll in the neighborhood. Mark, though weary from the demands of the day, revels in the simple pleasures of familial bonds. Following dinner, this is a more way of saying after dinner. The family reunites in collective activities. This is very advanced and again, almost poetic. A more B1 everyday way of saying this would be, the family spends quality time together. One of the activities is a stroll in the neighborhood. A stroll is a leisurely walk. So if there is a word, stroll, that means something else, to walk leisurely, it sounds more advanced to use the one word that communicates that idea. A stroll, a leisurely walk. Now grammatically, you can use to go for a stroll. Following dinner, we went for a lovely stroll in the park. The verb is go, so it's conjugated in the past simple, went. You can also take a stroll. Following dinner, we took the past simple of take. Following dinner, we took a lovely stroll in the park. Both are common and equally used. Let's learn about how Mark ends his daily routine. As the clock inches towards bedtime, Mark carves out a brief period for personal reflection by reading, meditating, or journaling. As he slips into his comfortable bed, he savors the tranquility that descends upon his home. As the clock inches towards bedtime, this is very advanced, it sounds poetic. As bedtime approaches, clearly sounds more intermediate, more basic than as the clock inches towards bedtime. Mark carves out a brief period for personal reflection by, and then you have your activities. By reading, by meditating, or by journaling. You could say, I start my day by, and then whatever the activity is. I start my day by working out for 30 minutes. I end my day. I conclude my day to sound more advanced. I conclude my day by meditating for 15 minutes. It's an integral part of my daily routine. As he slips into his comfortable bed. To slip into is a more advanced poetic way of saying to get into. I get into bed at 10 o'clock. I slip into my warm and comfortable bed as the clock inches towards 10 p.m. That sounds very advanced and poetic. He savors, he really enjoys. He savors the tranquility, the peace and quiet. He savors the tranquility that descends upon his home. Descends, that enters, that fills his home. A B1 student might simply say, he enjoys the quiet in his home. Now let's look at this whole sentence together, which is a complex sentence. And I want you to notice the as he, and then the other part of the sentence, he. As he X, he Y. X and Y being the activities. As I prepare my breakfast, I review my back-to-back meetings. As I is the dependent clause, which means it's incomplete. You have to connect it to an independent clause. I review my back-to-back meetings. That would be the independent clause. So this is a complex sentence, a great way to sound more advanced. Of course, every day you say goodbye or bye to people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are smarter ways to say that. So now you'll learn 40 smart ways to say this. You can absolutely say bye or goodbye. It's grammatically correct. The problem is that it sounds very formal, and native speakers don't really say goodbye. We say goodbye, but then we add on a natural expression. So let's talk about natural expressions you can use in everyday situations like shopping, at the grocery store, at a restaurant, or dealing with a customer service agent. You can say bye, but then add on take care. Bye, take care. Now you can also say take care and then bye. Take care, bye. Or you can simply say take care.
Take care.
You can say have a good, and then whatever the time reference is. Have a good day, morning, afternoon, evening, night. Or you can say have a good one, which is general to any situation. Have a good one, bye, take care.
Have a good one.
A quick tip is that native speakers commonly combine multiple expressions like I just did. Bye, take care, have a good night. It's very common to use 2, 3, or more expressions, so feel free to combine them. Now you can replace the adjective good with a different adjective. Have a wonderful day. Have a fabulous afternoon. Have a fantastic weekend. You can say bye for now, which implies that you're going to see that person again. Bye for now. Or you can say enjoy the rest of, and then the time period. Enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening, your weekend, your vacation.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Now, I created a free lesson PDF that summarizes all the greetings from this lesson. You can look for the link in the description or the comment section below. Now let's talk about saying goodbye to your friends. The most common is see you soon, see you later. A common one is also talk soon. Bye, talk soon.
See you later.
I'll see you later.
Now, if you have a future date planned with that friend, you can say, see you next weekend, see you tomorrow, see you at the party, and reference that next event. You can add can't wait to add some excitement. Can't wait to see you next weekend. Can't wait to see you at the party. You can say, bye, it was so nice seeing you. Instead of so nice, you can add, it was awesome, it was amazing, it was wonderful, it was lovely. And instead of seeing you, you can add, it was lovely catching up, it was lovely having dinner, it was lovely chatting. So you can add different alternatives to that expression. If your friend is getting into a vehicle, you can add, bye, drive safe, bye, have a safe trip, be well. Now, if you don't have a next date planned with your friend, you can add something to show you want to see them again. Bye, let's catch up soon. Don't be a stranger. Keep in touch. This is a very common one. Bye, keep in touch, take care. Now let's talk about some more informal slang expressions. You can use these with your friends, your family, or even with your coworkers, as long as it's a more informal situation. We commonly use gotta, got to, gotta. I gotta go, I gotta jet, I gotta head out, I gotta take off, I gotta hit the road, I gotta get going.
It's my 6 o'clock. I got a jet.
You can also say catch you later, which just means see you later. Catch you later. And notice I took you and reduced it to ya. Catch you later. Catch you later. Sometimes we just say later, later. A fun expression is catch you on the flip side. I have no idea what the flip side is, but catch you on the flip side. Catch you on the flippity flip.
I'll catch you on the flippity flip. Bye.
Some people say peace out. I personally have never said this, but I do hear it a lot from some other speakers. Peace out, or simply peace. So if that suits your personality, you can use that one.
Peace out!
One of the most common informal expressions is just see ya. So we take see you later and we reduce it to see ya.
Okay, bye.
See ya!
Bye-bye!
Let's talk about some expressions you can use with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, spouse, life partner. Bye, my love, my love. And we say it in such a nice voice. Bye, my love. I miss you already. I like that one. I miss you already, even though they're right there. I miss you already. Bye, my love.
I miss you already!
I miss you too!
Now we can use our pet name for each other. Bye, sweetheart. Bye, sweetie. Bye, cuddle bear. Bye, my darling. Or whatever your romantic name for each other is. And if you have young kids, you can use this really cute expression, which goes, see you later, alligator. Do you know what comes next? In a while, crocodile. But just use that one with young children. Now let's talk about professional expressions that you can use at work, in a job interview, a networking event, or conference. Bye, looking forward to seeing you again soon. Looking forward to working together. So notice the gerund verb we need. You can also use a noun, looking forward to the conference, looking forward to the project. If you're meeting someone for the first time, you can say, bye, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was nice talking to you. In a job interview, we generally express appreciation. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you. The interviewer will also express appreciation. Thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll be in touch shortly. Notice that expression, in touch. We'll be in touch soon. We'll be in touch shortly. Superiors can add some words of encouragement by keep up the good work, the great work, the amazing work. Or they might say, if you need me, I'm a phone call away. Bye, if you need me, I'm a phone call away. You know where to find me, which is letting you know you can just text me. You know where to find me. I'll be on my phone. You know where to find me. Or a common one in the office is, by my door's always open. And that's encouraging you to come back if you want to discuss anything or if you need help.
My door is always open.
Amazing job with this lesson. Now put let's go in the comments if you want more lessons just like this. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And you can keep expanding your vocabulary with this lesson right now.